last couple of days since the most recent game? How are they responding?
Not bad. And the one thing they've done a good job, even in tough losses, tough games, doing a good job coming back, practicing, competing, getting better. So that part has been good.
You had a few days to sort of soak in last weekend. Have you figured out where you go from here in terms of how you tweak things, or what do you have to do to get the thing turned around?
I think just continue to work hard. One, offensively take care of the basketball, move the ball, better spacing. I thought last game we had a little more production in the post with David. Even though he caught the ball to block some, faced up, made shots, but got to be able to go inside out, move the ball. Got to find ways to get transition baskets as well.
When you haven't gotten an interior presence offensively, how much is that hurting you guys on the perimeter?
Well, I think it makes it tough if you don't get low post production, whether you get into the lane. I think Tyrone's done a good job of still getting to the lane, shots aren't falling. But you got to get in the paint. You got to get in the paint. You got to be able to score it around the rim, and you watch film. We've had some around the rim, just hadn't gone. But you got to continue to put pressure on the defense. And I just think part of that when losing, you start pressing a little bit. So just really try to relax and let the game come, and whatever happens, happens.
You see that in your team, that you think they're starting to press some?
Well, I think so. I think even
That's natural, right?
yeah, it's human nature. I mean, I did it as a ball player. I just think you got to calm down, continue to play, and let it sort itself out.
Jabari had the same issue a year ago. You weren't here, obviously, but when he came back from injury, it just took him a long time to sort of get in the rhythm. What do you tell him to kind of get him back on the beam?
I think for him, just really moving and sprinting and working hard in practice. I thought he had really not caught him last night. Thought he had two of his better practices in a while. Just really sprinting, running the floor. Being one of the first 2 or 3 guys to finish the sprints. And I think that's the biggest key with him, just getting out of that comfort zone and just working as hard as he can work.
When he passes up shots or opportunities to drive the ball or whatever, when he has opportunity on offense and he doesn't take it, he just kind of passes to somebody else, do you have to take him aside and say, hey, Jabari, you got to be Jabari Bird here?
Stay aggressive. I mean, the thing about it, you need to score in production. And then for whatever reason he passes shots up, I don't necessarily say you should have shot that. You shouldn't have shot that shot. Just more or less be aggressive. Now, after the game is over, you watch film with him. Say, man, why'd you pass this shot up? Because I mean, for whatever reason in the game, guys do different things. But for him, he needs to be aggressive, and even some ways scoring the ball around the post a little bit, posting him up some. And I just think as his conditioning goes, he'll get better and better.
Washington State hurt you. Those two guys, Lacey and Hawkinson, really hurt you last night. Are they still playing at that level, and what do you do to?
Well, I think Hawkins is playing well. I mean, he's a double-double guy. He's doing a great job facing up, making jump shots. I mean, he shoots on the perimeter like a guard. And he'll post up some around the rim, shoot at floaters. I mean, it's rare you see a big guy, 6'10", shooting floaters, and he does a good job with that. Really played well against us, and he's still been sound. But I think the biggest key is really, and it wasn't necessarily those guys beating us on the glass, but maybe it was for us some surprising that the way Hawkins shoots the ball from the perimeter. You got to be aggressive and attack his closeouts because he can make that shot. And I just think really get him out of that comfort zone. I think he got comfortable through the course of a game and he made plays. And he finished strong for him.
How do you get him out of the comfort zone?
Well, through the scout report, carrying out those assignments, making him uncomfortable, where he's catching the ball. I think in Hawkins' case, challenging his shots, making him work, and really getting him off the blocks where he's getting so deep. I mean, anytime you're a 7-foot guy, one drill around the rim, chances are very good that shot going in.
Your guys were in here a minute ago, and both of them said that it was more on them, on your team, than on the opposition. What's changed once you got into the conference? But teams do scout you much differently and, much more attentively. When you look at that thing, how much of it's them and how much of it's you guys?
In the Washington State game or just
No,
overall?
Generally speaking,
I just think.
conference play.
Well, I think what happens again when you're losing games, now you start thinking, you start pressing, then you lose tough games on the road, and you come home, you don't play as well. I think the key is being aggressive, relaxing, doing the things you did to get wins, sharing the basketball, having your spacing. But again, you got to get some production around the rim. You got to get to the free throw line. You got to be able to do it for 40 minutes. Now, there'll be ups and downs in the game, but the intensity has to be high for 40 minutes. And I think that's the strength of your bench as well because, again, you're playing your starters so many minutes against equal level of competition. So your bench has to be strong enough to come in if you're not scoring the ball, you can't turn the ball over. You got to be sound defense. You got to carry out those assignments, and we got to be consistent with that and do that.
If you do those things and you stay aggressive, do you think your personnel is good enough to execute it the way you did in non-conference? Now you're in the Pac-12.
I think our personnel is better than what we've shown, so we got to be consistent with it. Again, like I said before, I don't know if necessarily we have enough right now, but you got enough to be where you need to be. Now you just got to be sound. You can't have mental mistakes. You can't have mental breakdowns where all of a sudden you come out of the half, it was 6 or 7, now it's 10 or 12 that quick. So you got to be sound. You got to be aggressive.